I think, yeah, 2 weeks ago, we had no proposals, and that was the first time ever at MoonDAO, since we started the, like, project system that we didn't have any proposals. And, yeah, then last week we only had 1, and this week we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, yeah, it's gonna be a long one, potentially. So let's try to be a little bit brief, but yeah, well, there's a lot of really important ones on here too. So, um, yeah, with each of the proposals, so we haven't really been uh, enforcing this so much because we're just transitioning now with Project V4. But before putting it up on the Senate, I want to make sure that there's at least 3 Rocketeers signing off that all of the requirements that we have from the project system and the Constitution, etc., are met before it going up to vote. So I know that some of the proposals that we're going to be discussing right now.
Can you guys hear Pablo? I can't. I think I lost.
Um,
Yeah,
I think
sorry, Leslie. Go
I
ahead.
can hear now. Someone asked if we can hear you, Pablo. I
Oh,
think I think I think I can hear you.
Yeah, you're back now.
Uh, yeah.
hmm.
Um,
Okay. I've been talking. Have people been able to hear me? Or
I can
you
hear you.
you stop for a couple seconds.
oh, okay. All right. um, well, should I repeat it? Did I cut out?
Yeah, start
Um,
over.
Okay. All right, all right, all right. I'll be brief. Basically, we have a lot of proposals, a lot of really important ones, and that we should try to follow from now on to the T projects before, and that means getting the 3 Senate signatures before it moving up to vote. So yeah, after we get feedback from the Senate discussing Jesus' proposals. Let's make sure that we get those signatures before it goes up to official vote. And yeah, I think yeah. Without further ado, let's jump in. Yeah, or anything
Um,
people want to bring up before we do.
yeah. So how to get the signature? They just put their name there.
Yeah, just comment on the doc. Go, hey, add my name in. Um, that should be good enough. Yeah. And those signatures are basically just ensuring that it meets all of the requirements in projects before and in the constitution, just as kind of like a measure of like, yeah, like everything here is good to go and it's ready for vote. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I'll start this out with the uh yeah, the MoonDAO coalition slash partnerships proposal. Still trying to figure out a good name for it, but yeah, that aside, I think the system is more or less you know, put together. This is from like tons and tons of discussions that we've had about how we want to run partnerships for a while. And yeah, just wanted to make sure that we have something put on paper and that we can discuss this week. I think that uh, yeah, it's a little bit. It's an 8-page proposal. Sorry, it's a little long, but uh, yeah, the basic idea, and I'll just cover it high level, is a three-pronged solution to how we want to approach these partnerships. So one is like an actual system for like, okay, how do we go from interest that someone has and being a MoonDAO partner to like execution and like actually getting them to be an official MoonDAO partner, and then also like a specific definition of what it means to be a MoonDAO partner and what benefits we give them. Um, And then the third is like operating that pipeline and operating, those benefits, etc. So making sure that we have a team behind this that does all of the follow through. And yeah, so the yeah, I'll discuss each of those just quickly. So the first part is the actual pipeline. So this has a few steps. The first is just like a very obvious form that is on our website that is easy to find from our Discord, etc. That just is a very very lightweight thing. Getting information about what the organization is, who is the point of contact, and then that form goes to the person responsible for reviewing those interest forms. And yeah, the person responsible is a single individual, so not a team of individuals, but like a single person that goes and then puts together a meeting and then initiates that contact with that person. And in that meeting, we try to get more details, specifically, what can MoonDAO offer them, like what are they looking for, and really understanding their needs, and then also figuring out how can they help MoonDAO. So we're like basically developing a sense of like where's the symbiosis between the two groups. And yeah, if it looks beneficial, then that individual puts together a package, and that package includes that community's logo, the title of their community, the point of contact for that community, a general memorandum of understanding between the two communities. So this will be a document that we have to kind of put together, but it should be something really basic but flexible that just outlines like, okay, we're going to help you with X, and in return, you're going to help us with Y. And then, yeah, whatever benefits MoonDAO is receiving, this could be like an affiliate link, discount codes, etc. And then, yeah, that package is then sent over to a decision maker group, which I left kind of open ended because I wanted this to be a discussion between us. It could be the astronauts, it could be the Senate, it could be the stewards. I would rather reuse an existing decision making body that we have rather than create a new one. But yeah, um, I think that there needs to be that sort of like that decentralized step of like using some governance, but having a single re- person who's personally responsible for operating the system. Yeah, and then if approved, then at first this is probably going to look a little manual, but we can create an automation where the logo, the website, the person of point of contact for the community is put into a system, and then populate on our website. We have maybe a section of our Discord where all of these partners can talk. We have maybe use unlock protocol to unlock a discount that they've given our community, something like that. Um, yeah, and we have a standard package for like what MoonDAO gives people that join this partnership. So we feature them on our website. We direct our community towards their products or services. Like they're like a preferred member for certain things. Yeah, we could do co-branded marketing communications about them joining the MoonDAO Coalition, and an AMA with our community, and yeah, m- entry into a special part of our Discord, and also allow them to participate in our hackathons, stuff like that. So yeah, um, the rest of this is basically just outlining the rest of that risk benefits. Um, yeah, uh, the objectives to just kind of clearly state what is going on with this. The major missing piece on this is we haven't really filled out the roles yet. I was kind of hoping to do that on this call or after this call. figuring out who is interested in helping to lead this. I scoped this out to have, you know, one leader and someone that can support that leader, and then also someone that can help with the automations and the web side of things. So yeah, that's more or less it. Um, yeah, so there's still some pieces to fill in, but at a high level, that's the idea. Yeah.
I just want to say this form, I already actually have it set up and active in our Discord. So we're already on our way.
Nice.
Yeah,
The
and
first form, right? The 3.
Just the what's your organization? What is the best email to contact you form?
yeah, and guys, I by the way, thank you, Pablo, for writing everything down and saying that, yeah, these are like the next steps for partnerships. I think this is like really great stuff, and I think everything in this is totally in place to get started. And yeah, I would just say, okay, let's create the team. I saw in the Discord that Lucas also said that he want to lead and support this round, this group, and yeah, I would love to do the same. So maybe we can also have like different leaders or so. I know that Michi also did a lot of stuff towards this, so I would say, yeah, let's just jump into the group and make regular meetings and get it straight. Yeah, I think we got the process in place and we got the open leads in place, and we just need to coordinate and reach out. Cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
Lucas, maybe you can also share, yeah, what you had in mind, or how we want to handle this. I'm totally flexible.
Yeah, I think we can also talk right after the Senate meeting, if it's not too late, and figure out where are we stronger, you know, because it could be, this could be handled in several manners, different manners, and yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that we need one leader, because in a way we are all leading this in a way. But yeah, obviously we need to stay accountable and responsible for this. But if we are all on one page with this, yeah, we could just see.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of agree with Pablo. I think we need a central figure, you know, to coordinate the strategy behind it, and yeah, to build this flow. But yeah, I think we can talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that, you know, there could be multiple individuals supporting the team, but yeah, I think we'll want yeah, like a central figure that can help you know, really be the one driving the initiative and being in the hot seat a little bit, you know, with great you know, responsibility. I, I totally messed that up. With great power comes great responsibility. And we want someone that is very, you know, basically on the ball with this, because especially with external organizations, we want to make sure that we're, you know, putting our best foot forward, and that they feel like, hey, they're really being looked after, rather than maybe, you know, a miscommunication, like, oh, who's responsible for responding to the form? Did it get responded to? Is it, you know, trying to minimize those sort of like um, communication challenges, I think would be good.
Um, Completely agree with Paulo in this case. So we have made like several mistakes when we think that okay, everyone is responsible for that, and it end up no one responsible for it. So in this case, we should have one, let's say, single person who, you know, in charge. But of course, this is a collective work. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I am happy to help on the team, but it would be great to have one person leading it. I have about at least a dozen organizations that I'd like to have one point of contact to connect people through. So yeah, I would support anyone mentioned, and yeah, the people here are great.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, I guess I'll follow through and we can, populate this team. Sounds like we have a lot of people that would like to support and help with the initiative. And yeah, then we'll get those 3 signatures and get this moving. All right. I'll pause this discussion though on this proposal because we got a bunch in the pipeline. And I'll hand it over to Balak for the CN translation.
Okay, I will share my screen.
Thanks, Balak. Yeah, if
Can
let me know if
you
you need me to share too. I can pop it. Yeah.
can you guys see? Oh, wait, still. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is basically on to the MoonDAO CN translation and bridge project, which we have discussed several times. And yeah, briefly that our document at the moment, proposal, newsletter, meeting notes, and mostly in English, and we have a large CN community. And those members could not understand English, so which caused a lot of misunderstanding between contributors, CNs, non-CN communities. So I think it's best that let them know what we are doing and what's going on by MoonDAO. So after this problem said that we can do, especially at first proposal, we need a CN one before or at before we put it in the snapshot, or at the beginning putting in the snapshot to that they know okay what they really need for, what they really vote for. And then also the other documents actually all needed, newsletter, meeting notes, and also guild meeting notes, and will be translated. And also this also include a monthly AMA. And also I think maybe Arsenal, Pablo, and also Go Stewards. I also think that the project stewards need to attend this because there are several questions about different projects, and the project stewards know better than Arsenal or Guild stewards. So I think it would be better that those group of people one time per month and could also attend to this AMA. Then the translate the AMA will be also translated, and also we'll have a year notes and then translate to CN notes to that the people who cannot attend also got to the overview on from the get the info from the AMA, and then also distribute this document or information to different channels and which has, for example. And the solution, oh, sorry, maybe I here need to change because we discussed, I discussed with Damien, with me, and with Marco a time. So to set up a CN announcement Telegram channel just for announcement, then every people can get the newest CN translation in Telegram. Because we discussed that for the Discord, maybe for some members that is hard to use. It's not a very easy tool, but Telegram is more easier. Sorry, it's more easier. Maybe I will change it a little bit. Sorry, I change it later. Okay, the solution is that for the documents we will use Google Translate, and then plus also team checking to issue the quality of content, because I also use Google Translate. There's always several words or sentence something need to be checked, and then the second one is proposal that need to be confirmed, need to be make sure that has a scene one, and then monthly MA, and also there also one member. This is also the team member represent voice from a lot of people from the same community attend this our weekly Senate meeting. And is at the moment the me and Marco they couldn't attend because I don't want to do this role because I'm already the guild steward, and if I am also here to represent their voice is a little too centralized. So we need to still figure out who can do it, and the Marco, and yeah, we can see their profile data, and also as Luffy mentioned that. Yeah, we need to create a CM version weekly newsletter. Yeah, sure, we will include it, but I highlight here again the benefit is that so many such documents have a same version, then we have people to understand. And also the monthly MA, we have communication and hopefully, and then yeah, a team member attend our Senate meeting, can collect the feedback, can collect the questions maybe from the same community, and then attend our meeting and then give the feedback to the same community. But we still need to find who can do it because their time may be not so fit at the moment. Risk that if the translation is in currency, it could lead to misunderstanding, and also if a translation is not neutral, it will also lead to another direction. And the OKRs, there are four OKRs here, and first one is that for the documents in CN, and the second one is monthly AMA. This and third one is attend the weekly Senate meeting, and maybe not just attend. You need to collect the questions maybe, and also get feedback then. And the fourth one is that to create a Telegram announcement channel, and yeah, also post the news to CN version and in that channel. Yeah, the team member, as you can see, me actually, I don't want to be as a rock tier, and as I said, I already guild stewards. I want just maybe just a part of the team, but we have a role. Only the Mount Settler can be as a team steward. So I will, yeah, in the first one, this one, I will be as a project on the stewards. Initial team, Damien, Marco, and Ming. On the Marco, she live now in Canada, and I think she actually also pretty active about Discord. If you guys looked, there are several conversation and with him in different channel with her in different channels. Me graduated from USA, US university, now back to China. So their English is perfect and better than me. And actually, I hope that they could represent there's a lot of people from same community to attend our Senate meeting, and but the time for them and could not feed. Me need to work, and Marco is 4 p.m. in Canada for her, so he's still on in working. So yeah, thanks Lucas as a delegate. Actually, I can also be. So I just forgot. I think I need to ask her a third another one because I also staked over 250K win money. Yeah, initial team, me, Marco, as I said, and joined MoonDAO very long time, and also translated some documents, and then yeah, and as a Moonbot before, she live now in Canada. I think maybe the time is for communication maybe is best fit for Ian side from US. I think they still didn't get the MVP input MVP. I already asked them and me, and also, as I said, she graduated from a US university, and Damien, we all know it, contributed by MoonDAO since very beginning, and there's a small overview of I want overview that the Kanban, maybe a Kanban spreadsheet, who have did on which kind of document AMA will make a record here, and then no, since I didn't put MVP, so I didn't maybe at the moment no initial funding. Yeah, we were trying the first month because next month the second quarter finished, and then to see if it's okay from the same community, they are satisfied with this this solution or not, then we need to maybe to resubmit this proposal again. Yeah, I see Luffy's here. Yeah, we try maybe more than 1 month, and if it's okay, then just resubmit, go our process again. Then. Okay, I speak so quick because due to so many proposals. Any questions? So.
Hey, Balak, about the project duration, I think it should be longer.
Luffy, so you got a question for me or?
Yeah. I just give a comment about the project duration. I think this is a very important project, and the duration should be longer. So let's say 3 months something to measure the impact of the project.
Yeah, I actually discussed with them. Also, I see actually maybe extend to September and next quarter. But they also they want to see that if it's okay and to try we see over months end of June then to see okay if it's good or not or which kind of changes we should do then resubmit again or yeah so yeah I'm open on this. Yeah, but thanks Luffy. I will also change this feedback to now 3 members to get their feedback again.
And I
Okay.
think they can ask for the MVP. So
They still didn't input MVP, and I will ask them again if after that I think it ready to go for snapshot. Sorry for Senate and vote.
Yeah. I feel like it might be good to do it in 3-month increments because then it could be part of the incentives system every quarter, and it might be good to reevaluate in 3 months the success of the project and what's gone well and what hasn't.
Okay, okay. Also got you, Pablo. Luffy, your feedback is that maybe 3 months, maybe it's better. Got you. Yeah, I think it is maybe it's good that maybe 1 month is really a little too short. Then yeah, maybe 3 months is better because we need to find as I said, find one member who can represent them or to attend our Senate meeting. So this is still in still in searching process then.
Great. But yeah,
Yeah.
looks good to me. Any other questions for Balak?
Part of this is also translating our whole onboarding process into Chinese as well, right?
Basically, this team will translate all documents or needed whatever.
I'm just thinking um, in terms of like the technical infrastructure that we're using to do onboarding right now. It's probably going to be a little tricky. We're probably going to have to find a workaround to make the whole thing work in Chinese. It if I think what it and I still haven't looked into this, but it could be an option to somehow make a separate Discord just for onboarding where people get roles and then those roles somehow carry over into our official Discord. Um, that might be the easier way to do it because otherwise, not just with like Spect, which what we're using now, but also with the Discord's native onboarding features, they're not very bilingual friendly. um, so I don't really have a solution there yet. I'm I'll help look for a solution because I definitely want to get this stuff in Chinese as well. But just want to make it clear that that's a unsolved problem as of yet.
Yes, yeah, yes. Sorry, Michi. So it seems like always I got a problem with VPN with Skeleton. I can hear got you something, but not so all of you what you are talking. And but for Pablo, I can hear you more clear. And maybe you can maybe just leave a comment or something, or we can chat in that channel then. Then I then I will response for you.
All right. Then yeah, let's move over to the next proposal. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Balak, definitely follow up with Michi. Yeah, he had some good input there about the onboarding. And yeah. All right. Well,
I lost Pablo's comms. Anyone else can hear him?
Yeah,
No,
same.
I can hear you,
oh,
Eric.
I can hear you, Ari.
Pablo, you're back.
Oh, did I disconnect? Sorry.
You're
No,
good
yeah,
now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it seems like we're getting pranked a little bit with GatherTown. Sorry, I don't know if I interrupted something. I was gonna jump over to the executive branch proposal.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I'll preface this by saying that this proposal, as it stands, is really just a starting point for figuring out how we want to treat this sort of executive branch that we've created. So, in the last amendment, we moved um, the astronauts' role from the Senate over to the executive, and the astronaut has certain powers like appointing moderators and multi-sig members, um, basically like trusted operations inside of the DAO. And yeah, there's kind of been a growing need to have more support for trusted operations inside of MoonDAO. So there's a thread a little bit ago about having like something like a full-time MoonDAO operator that could help with um, incentives, operations, governance operations, stuff like that until we automate it. And yeah, the analogy that came up recently, I was talking to Lucas about this, is that there's like MoonDAO is this house, and there are certain chores like doing the dishes and the laundry and stuff like that, that are really important to get done for everyone, like just upkeep of the and maintenance of the house. But there are also like leaks in the ceiling and other like really kind of pressing important matters. And uh, yeah, I think it's important to free up our astronauts from not having to uh, put coins in the laundry and have some more support for stuff like that. Um, so the idea with this was like basically piggybacking off of the project system and having something like a project to oh, can you guys only see a black screen for my screen right now? Is this working or no?
Only getting
No.
black screen.
Let me retry. Is this working?
You're good now.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Yeah, so the idea is basically having a project for executive operations inside of the DAO. So executive operations defined as like stuff that's in the Constitution, that astronauts take care of. But yeah, there's actually came up with a really rough framework. So like either something that's explicitly a power inside of the Constitution, or something that like requires really sensitive handling of information, where if that information were to get out or be mismanaged, it could, like, really, really hurt the DAO. And yeah, the third one is basically like anything that needs immediate action to resolve, and can't wait for a proposal. And eventually there should be a proposal created for that thing, but in the meantime, we can have the executive branch fill in, which is like something also that occurred during the, like, when we had that scare with DAI depegging, stuff like that. Um, yeah. But, yeah, I think that we should heed the warning of, I forget who it was. I think it's George Washington talking about, like, the powers of government and, it being kind of like a fire. And if, when used correctly, it can be extremely beneficial. But if there aren't the proper checks and balances on that power, that it could light the whole house on fire. So, um, I feel, really strongly that we should try to think super adversarial about how this could go wrong, and where, what sort of checks and balances are required for this. So, um, I think that Lucas had some really great comments about the, like, how long this will run, and kind of the perpetual nature of it. And I agree with him, and I think that we should maybe have like a 3-month testing period with this, and then go from there. So right now, as it's written, it's kind of like it uses the project system, but then has an automatic refill every quarter. And the idea behind that is, like, a lot of these are really constant operations, and we kind of want a little bit of a war chest, for, like, stuff that needs immediate help or immediate, like, execution from the DAO, and to assign, like, someone that we trust that can fill that role. Um, but yeah, so I won't go into so much of the rest of the details in here. I recommend people read it. But yeah, the really high level thing is that, yeah, we currently have a big need for more support when it comes to these trusted operations, and we want to automate them in a way that it's trustless, going forward. But as it stands today, there's a big amount of centralization in the DAO, because I'm the one doing a lot of these trusted operations. And yeah, I don't think we want myself to be running all of this stuff. And also, I don't even want to be like doing all of these operations myself, because I will burn out. And yeah, uh there's also a component of this too, which I think, part of the, like, this proposal should include budget for the astronauts and the work that they're doing. And I I really don't want to, like, put forward a, like, this is how much I want to be paid. I think I want this to, like, be an open discussion, and I think that it should be decided by the Senate. And like, one way that this could really go wrong is if the executive branch can assign their own salaries. If that's the case, then there's definitely a conflict of interest. So, um, yeah. And then a question about what's the total amount that should go into the sort of budget. So, um, I think that there's sort of three big needs at the moment that I think should be within the jurisdiction of the sort of astronauts. So one is like a day-to-day operations lead. So this would be someone that, like, helps put proposals up on Snapshot, that helps with like operating our incentives work, helps out with password management, like, I could enumerate, the just, like, the day-to-day sort of, needs. But, yeah, it would be like, someone that's there full time, that can respond to and help with a lot of these day-to-day operations. The other one that I think is really needed is a legal lead. So I spend a lot of my time hiring lawyers, figuring out, you know, being in contract negotiation with other parties, with lawyers. Um, yeah, like it's and I don't like doing that, but I think it's, you know, it's really important stuff that needs to be, you know, buttoned up and correct. And I think now with our new incorporation with the Marshall Islands, at least a lot of that uncertainty starts to go away. But there's still a lot of legal operations that are happening, and you know, I think it would be great to have someone here that could support. And I got one quote that was like $10,000 for like work that needs to get done now, and then $2,000 a month kind of for ongoing advisory. And the benefit of having someone that is more in-house legal is that they start to get an idea of all of the moving pieces at MoonDAO. And yeah, we we like kind of have this, but we don't have any budget really allocated towards this. And so yeah, I think that both of these roles in my mind are really important ones that uh, probably need a consistent, you know, like budget allocated towards them, and then also like an astronaut, like some amount that we pay the astronauts for like the work that they're doing. Yeah, and I I I put forward, you know, what I think is what I think the maximum of the budget should be. So I think that it should look something like, here is a war chest that the executive branch has, and they should never be spending more than this amount. Ideally, they're spending a lot less, and every quarter it just gets refilled to like, if the executive branch only spends $10,000 that quarter, then that 10,000 should be you know, added back in. But the idea, I think, should be that it is a war chest, and there should be a strict limit on it. But we should have some amount so we can respond to pressing issues quickly. Um, yeah, but yeah, again, I think that there are a few ways that this could go wrong, and I've thought through some of them, but I'll need your guys' help to you know, come up with all of the ways that this could go wrong. I think one way could be that we get you know, like let's think in terms of like, what happens if, you know, our worst enemy were to get into this role. They'd probably spend the entirety of the budget. They would probably hire in a lot of people from the Senate to get, you know, like all of their expenses passed. So like as it stands right now, the idea is to have a multi-sig that isn't appointed by the astronaut. It's all appointed by the Senate to review transactions and make sure that they're legitimate and good transactions. So there's like oversight on all of the spending. But yeah, I think a real risk could be that yeah, the Senate becomes compromised, and so it should probably include approval from the member house as well. Any changes to the budget, or yeah, like appointing who is on that like executive treasury. Um, yeah, and I think we should also have like pretty strong definitions of what should be part of, you know, what are proper uses of that budget. So yeah, improvement on these definitions I think would be great. Yeah, there are already a ton of comments on here, and I started to respond to some, but I haven't gotten to all of them. Um, yeah, I think a major yeah. So I think a major comment came from Lucas, which is like, why don't we basically have this run through the project system? And maybe we should have it run for 3 months in a trial period through the project system. But I do think that it would be useful to have like a uh, like long-term assurance that like if someone does become our legal lead, that they can we know that they can be there long term. Same with like an operations lead, stuff like that, where like if we want an operations lead to be full time at MoonDAO, like having these sort of more long term commitments that we make towards them, I think benefits us a lot. And same with the astronaut roles. So yeah, and then a lot of the work that we have really is like has been consistent since the beginning. So there is a decent amount of like demand for this, and then the Senate can adjust, on a quarterly basis what they think is the right amount that should be going in that allocated towards that executive branch. Yeah, and then another big question is whether or not people inside of the executive branch should also be receiving payments through the project system. I think it's really important to keep those two separate. Um, I could see a world where there's sort of like competing interests between the executive branch and the Senate, and there could be some weird double dipping occurring, mixed incentives, and yeah, having that sort of separation of powers and separation of accounts, I think could be beneficial. But we're also pretty short staffed at the moment, so that's kind of a tricky thing here, where it's like I think that there are tons of projects and initiatives that really benefit from support of of people that would currently be defined as part of the executive branch, like me, and you know, yeah, I don't want there also to be like poaching going on, if that makes sense, like taking people out of the Senate through, yeah, that stuff like that. Like we shouldn't self cannibalize, but um, yeah, I don't know exactly what the best solution is between those. Um, yeah, so and then I think also that the passing of this proposal should include a ranked choice vote of like who we want to have fill in to be that first astronaut as defined in the Constitution. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot to digest here. There's a lot of considerations, and um, yeah, I think it's this is a big one. I don't think that we should put this up to vote this week, because there's just like a lot to consider. I want this to be the beginning of a dialogue around this. Definitely don't think that something like this should be like rushed through the Senate. So yeah, I'd love some of your guys' feedback now, but definitely think that with something as big as this, it would benefit a lot from async back and forth. I'd love to hear from Lucas, who has had a lot of comments on here that I haven't responded to yet, and yeah, from anyone else too. But I'm gonna pass it over to Lucas first because he's had the most comments so far. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you addressed most of them. Yeah, I think that my main concern is, how this can be exploited in general. Um, you are great, Pablo, by the way, but my main concern is if we build a framework around this, we could have an astronaut in the future that could abuse his power, and yeah, I don't know. I'm also not really comfortable with the amount on this separate treasure. I think it's too much, and at the same time, yeah, it's hard because our treasure is in a is pretty low right now, so, or getting low. So I get that it's tricky, but I don't know. I feel that do an initial project with 3 months or even 6 months or a year, but stating more clearly, the total amount instead of a percentage, I think could be beneficial. I don't know. I don't really like this separation between these executive collaborators and the other collaborators of the DAO. But I understand the concerns, and yeah, I think I'm cool with it. I think that my main concern is just that centralization can be hard sometimes, and yeah, can be easily exploited.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely share a lot of the same concerns. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, with the cap being 5% of the non-Mooney assets, I mean that's definitely a lot. But it is different in nature than the the amount that goes to like retroactive funding, because that 5% is like with the Senate retroactive funding, it's like that 5% definitely goes out. And with this case, it's like here is a maximum war chest budget in case like there is something really pressing that all of a sudden needs, some amount of funding or something like that. Is basically like a um, yeah, our ability to respond top down and sort of quickly to with sort of like emergency concerns that occur, um, and setting a maximum amount on what that is. But yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying. Maybe we should start with a scope down timeline of 3 to 6 months, something like that, and then reduce the maximum budget as well, because we're kind of playing with fire, and it would be good to like test run it on a smaller scale, smaller scope, and then see what it looks like after that amount that time. We'll have run into probably a couple of scenarios where we go, oh, this was wrong. We should have changed that. Um, yeah, but yeah, I share a lot of the concerns, Lucas. Yeah.
Paulo, I have a question here. So, are we going to, let's say, select a new astronaut? I mean, and beside you, so we have going to have additional one.
Yeah, I think, well, yeah, I was thinking like with this proposal, I was kind of going back and forth. Like maybe it just makes sense to um, do two astronauts at once. Like, I mean, yeah, like I think that like I've basically have been serving in an astronaut role, but in an undefined way. And I think that this proposal is adding clear definition around what are the bounds and scope of that power, and yeah, and maybe we want to add a second astronaut with this, and or yeah, I mean, I was thinking like we'd do ranked choice vote, and I would put my name in, um, and we could have other people, joining. Um, I know Ryan brought up this idea of like a staggered astronaut selection process. So we do one astronaut, and then like on a 6 month interval or something like that, then we choose the second, so that there's always kind of a rotation. And we're not left with like a weird case where we have to replace two or three all at once, and that could cause a um, you know whiplash. So yeah, I'm
Okay.
curious what other people think. Yeah.
I personally think that decentralization is good, but right now I don't see any need for additional astronauts. And I also against the idea to put up a vote for the astronauts. I think you are fine right now. So agree we should define clearly what is the role and responsibility of astronauts. But if now we open up, a channel for astronaut selection, and then all of our effort we focus on the elections, and then we are, I don't know, kind of spread our effort to thin in multiple activities, and we are still a lot of like activities need to get done. So I would suggest to postpone that idea at least 1 year or something.
Yeah. I do want to exercise that part of the Constitution, though, and I think it'd be a good trial run, at the very least, and see how it goes. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be sort of this guinea pig that I mean, I've I've got us, I've I've worked really hard to get MoonDAO to the point where it's at, and I'm really I think this is like one of the big missing pieces, and I think that we should try to define this astronaut role and have it be filled in, and I think having a real election is important. For a lot of reasons. I think that it it adds, like it tests that part of the Constitution out, and then it also like affirms that this is what the community and the DAO wants, and I think that's important. And yeah, I think having a ranked choice vote would be good. Personally, yeah.
Yeah.
Beside the astronaut role, sorry, Lucas. So beside the astronaut role, are we going to vote for other roles as well? So I saw three different roles here, right?
Um, oh, you're talking about the operator role and the legal lead?
And
Yeah.
yes,
So that those would be appointments. Yeah. So, um, yeah,
so
it
the
would.
basically whoever like got selected as the astronaut will appoint the operators and the legal lead as together with their salary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of like a cabinet. Like there's the president or something like that was voted on, and then they have a cabinet along with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I really think that an election is important. I really like the idea of doing it each 6 months or so. Actually, I think 7 months or 8 months would be perfect. To maintain a rotation of at least three astronauts. And yeah, about this cabinet, I think that it's yeah, I think that we should state clearly how the selection process works, and maybe work in a way that, hey, the astronaut need to at least interview two or three different people for this role, kind of in a way to don't allow so many of a political impact on those positions, and rely more on the objective, capabilities of the people that are there. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the reason that I think that it's important that it's sort of operated um, rather than like through a vote, but through appointment for those leads is that um, I think that they need to work really well with the astronaut, and it's a really kind of like personal relationship that will be developed there between the operations lead and the astronaut, and like there are a lot of kind of like personal considerations with that, like time zones and communication styles. And I also think that they should be accountable to the astronaut, in that if they're operating and with sensitive information and stuff like that, there needs to be a strong trust between the people there. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to, yeah, like, I don't know, like for example, with the multi-sig, the way that it's defined in the Constitution, the astronaut gets to a point, but we've kind of run it through votes and stuff like that, and I think that's good because there's an alignment there. And if there are multiple people that the astronaut feels it would be like great candidates, then maybe it makes sense to, have the Senate weigh in on that, or the community weigh in on that. But yeah, I think it should be. Yeah, there's going to be a really strong personal relationship between those roles and the astronaut. So yeah. But yeah, I don't intend for this to go up for vote this week, so we'll have more time to discuss. And yeah, I think, yeah, my two major changes to this will probably be scoping down the timeline, and then reducing the total maximum budget, just in sort of like a trial period, um, and see how that goes. And yeah, we can discuss more about. Yeah, there are a lot of other aspects to this, and the devil's in the details. So, um, yeah, definitely think we should spend some time reading over this and making sure that it's all solid, and think of it, yeah, in terms of like, what if the DAO picks someone who turns into a total tyrant, and how could they destroy the DAO from within? Yeah, so yeah, I will. I'll stop there because we've got a bunch of other stuff that we need to get to. But yeah, thanks guys. And I'll pass it over to Lucas with the stake to vote proposal, or the L2 stake to vote. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys. We've been talking about this for a while now, and I just wanted to, draft a proposal to outline the exact scope of this one, and not sure why it's not sharing. Okay, should be up now. And potentially run it by Project V4, since it has no MVP, and it's not really a really complex thing to do. So yeah, the main problem is gas fees, and this would reduce drastically it. Um, the main idea is to deploy our current vMooney contract on Polygon. Our token Mooney is already mapped there, so we can just bridge our tokens from Ethereum to Polygon, and then do the streaming payments there, as well as other operations. The vMooney contracts on Polygon mainnet still need to be really tested before releasing to everyone. So the idea on this one is preparing the backend and test it out extensively, as well as code the snapshot custom strategy. That it's kind of a tricky work. It's something around 180 lines of code. So yeah, that's basically it. I have right here a little bit of a math that I did, how much we spent in gas fees, and yeah, the reduce the reducing average would be almost 95%. So it's huge. Pablo also posted on ideation the idea that we've been talking about lately in in the last couple of months as well, of rewarding directly in Vimuni. And I also added here into this scope to try to find out what's the best snapshot strategy that we can leverage to make this happen, and how we can use account abstraction maybe to issue new wallets and do this. The main objectives would be to implement the multi-chain voting strategy on snapshots, and create a MoonDAO treasury multisig on Polygon, for us to have more diversification and to leverage those cool gas fees. So yeah, if I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, I'm here. And I would love to proceed with this one as a soft consensus.
So wait, this doesn't require any budget?
No,
Oh wow. Okay. Even no gas fees on for like
it's just, yeah, it's just a ridiculous amount. It's like 10 cents, so I can pay that.
okay. Oh, awesome. Well, yeah, I think we should
I
explore it.
lost audio. Anyone else?
Oh, no, Pablo
Mhm.
was talking. Oh, Nicola, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Luffy brought up some thoughts. So if we, I mean, I think we can definitely do the vesting, and even the vMooney, lockups and account abstraction, all of that. But if we want to have a button to allow people to buy and stake vMooney from an L2 like Polygon for low gas, um, I guess we would need a liquidity pool in Polygon, right? Which we could could be added from like an individual or something like that. Yeah. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think that's something that comes naturally with the proposal. We don't need to really set this up. People will have a natural, incentive to open liquidity pools, because um, if people use more Polygon than Ethereum, it could be a lucrative thing to do, because the if the liquidity is smaller on Polygon, the price would go up. So there's a kind of an arbitrage operation there that could be beneficial to people providing liquidity, or just regular people that want to do some trading. And yeah,
Did I lose audio again?
oh, okay. I didn't put much focus on that, because I think that it's a natural movement. But yeah, I think it's natural. We don't need really to concern ourselves with that. Um, at this stage, it's just some to run some tests and to see if the contract will be stable there, and if the yeah, and then
Um,
in the second stage we can add the UI and find out how we deal with market making and this kind of stuff.
okay. So let me bring some clarification here. So first of all, I completely agree with. I mean, start small. So the scope of the proposal is something I fully support. What I'm trying to say here is uh, the problem we are trying to solve is we have very few people stake and vote, and the main reason that we believe is the gas fee. So right now to stake money, so it's gonna cost quite a lot. of gas fee, so that make people hesitate to stake. So if we want to increase the number of, let's say, voters, so we need to encourage more and more people move to the second layer or the layer two. And if we want to do so, we need to provide the incentive as well, all the necessary ecosystem from the money holder. And one part of that is the liquidity. So it's not come naturally because no one going to move to layer two if they don't see the incentive. So if you look at other layer two system out there, so they always start with incentive to attract people and early adopters. And when they got a considerable amount of users, and then it become naturally. But at first, you always need something to bootstrap. But again, this is not what we have to deal with right now. Just something to think about it.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but I think that, yeah, the main problem that I'm trying to solve with this is not to have, more voters. It's just to lower the gas fees, for the current voters, and for and diminish the impact on the treasury. But yeah, it would be beneficial to have more voters, and I think that yeah, when I say it comes naturally, this incentive is because if we have less liquidity, let's say I, Lucas, open a liquidity pool on Polygon, and uh, the price there will not be the same price as on Ethereum. So it naturally gives an incentive for people to bridge their tokens, or to just buy on Polygon or buy on Ethereum and then bridge and sell on Polygon or wherever. But yeah, we can think on other ways of doing that, and also on ways to onboard people. Cool. Any more thoughts?
There was, I know when we created our original staking contracts, there was a lot of money put into testing them. Is that like not as much of a concern here?
Mm, not sure if I understand your question.
Uh, I can't remember. I think Laertes told me how much money once that we put into testing the staking contract we have now, and I'm just wondering, like we put in all that money because of, I guess, cybersecurity threats, right? Just to make sure it was
Yeah,
fully audited and safe. Um, is
yeah. The thing is, I'm not writing a new contract. I'm using uh, the one that already exists. So
okay.
it's already audited. It's just a fork of it in a different chain. Um, and yeah, that's the main reason why we are using Polygon right now, because Moon is already mapped, so the compatibility is a lot easier. And yeah, I do think we need to test it out a lot before releasing the UI for everyone. But I think we can do this as individuals, and yeah, don't need really a specific budget for that, since gas
Um,
fees are low.
because we tested, we're going to test on the layer two. So I assume that the gas fee just a couple of dollars. I
Yeah.
mean, for multiple tests. The only one which is cost some is bridge to bridge the money from layer one to layer two.
Um, a question that I have that, sorry, this is just me probably being a little bit ignorant with this is uh, so we currently have the multisig that's sitting on mainnet with
Yeah.
Ethereum. Do we? Is it possible to like use that same multisig for Polygon transactions? I just haven't done this before.
Mm,
Or do we need to create a new multisig that lives on Polygon?
yes and no. um, because yeah, it needs to be a new multisig, but there's a way to connect those two, so the same people sign both. Um, uh, yeah, there's also a module that we install in our multisig, and then directs the exit multisig for the bridge tokens, because nose is safe still doesn't allow a multi-chain unique multisig.
Okay, so we'd have to make a new one. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. Okay, then. I will pass for the next proposal. I have a few of them tonight to present you. The next one should be the MoonDAO URL conference, basically an online conference hosted in GatherTown. The idea is to make a 2-day conference more focused on science than on space popularity itself. So the main objective here is to raise money through these conferences, as well as support the whole science and space ecosystem. So the idea is to have open calls for people who want to speak and who want to lead working groups, in the same model that a bunch of more academic conferences and organizations do. And then we can issue NFTs with IPFSs of those abstracts or papers that are presented in the conference. We can also have keynote speakers, and yeah. So I put here 3 main spaces for it. And the idea is to raise more money for this, attracting sponsors and partners. I did something a little bit different with the team, because I think it would be beneficial to outsource some of those positions, mainly because a lot of us are buried in work with multiple projects, as well as I think could be interesting to have really specific people with specific skills for this kind of outreach. It's kind of overlap a little bit with the partnership proposal, but at the same time, it does not, because this one is more outbound focused or more outreach focused, and the partnership is more inbound focused. So yeah, the main outsourcing team would be an SDR. There is a sales development representative to gather the leads that we already have and go around them, or a closer, and also a biz dev to do outreach mostly. I also added a curator for the talks and to help out with the general framework. And yeah, a centralized sales representative at the same model that we're doing with the 0G. Yeah, I also structured some different scenarios here. The overall cost for this would be around 22K. And the worst case scenario would be have like 20 people in the conference. Yeah, I'm working here with an average price of tickets of $100. And I have a couple of different scenarios with sponsors, without sponsors, with sold out, and here on the last line is the max that we could achieve in revenue through this proposal in the best case scenario. Yeah, in general, that's it. And I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you may have. Yeah. Also, I already mentioned that that I could maybe merge this with the hackathon. I think that, yeah, the business model and the partnership model behind hackathons and this kind of conferences are pretty different. So I think they would be more interesting to, have each one of them have their own thing.
So you mentioned about sponsors. So what are the sponsor plan here? So who going to be the sponsors?
Yeah, the main idea is to connect with universities, ETH Foundation, the Ethereum Foundation, other blockchain foundations that understand what a DAO is and what the SAI is. Also, outreach some different business that may have interest in space or in science in general. Um, yeah, in general, brands that could benefit from this partnership or from the results of the research presented there. And yeah, the plan is to have this three-person team that goes through those partners and reach out to them and offer different sponsorship deals, coming from $100 just for the IPFS paper published, up to $1,000 or up to $10,000. And yeah, down here I have a more discriminated timeline of how this would work, and also if within each role I have a different disponibility for people. So, for example, for those biz devs, they have 2 months getting sponsors, and then they stop for a week or two, and then they return 1 week after the events to deliver the results. And yeah, each role has a different timetable here. So yeah, the final budget required will be 15K USD, or the equivalent in ETH, and 4.5 million money to kickstart this, and then we can just fundraise the rest.
I saw some MVP. You are put it in per month. So can you give a fixed amount?
Yeah, the final amount is basically 2 months. The total amount for MVPs is 16K. I did this per month thing because it would be around 2 to 3 months depending on the role, and some roles would be active for 1 month only, and some roles would be active for 3 months or 4 months. So that's why. But yeah, right here is stated how many months it's each MVP, and also on the, yeah, here on budget it's stated the total amount for that particular role.
One more thing that I want to add here is, yeah, I really like the idea of connecting to academic institutions, so to build official public-private partnerships in a way. I also believe that we are in a good position to do so right now. The thing is, yeah, I'm not sure about the budget, and if we really want to outsource as many tasks as described here. But I think what we can do and what can be really beneficial as well is if we also ask around if other organizations wants to support us. For example, you talked about doing peer reviews, then securing them on chain. And I'm also thinking about incentivizing the researchers
Yeah.
to do so, right? Maybe also with Mooney in the best possible way. And I
Yeah,
also believe that DeSci World will be also totally open. Maybe just support us there. They were really cooperative in this DeSci round. Maybe this might also be a good way to promote this. Yeah, just wanted to add. So instead of outsourcing so many things, we can just ask around and ask more people to join us.
yeah, sure. Actually, yeah, the main two outsource things would be just the biz dev roles. The other ones could be fulfilled for MoonDAO members as well. Um, yeah, about the peer reviewing and speakers and papers, things like that. I set up a pool of rewards for those people, so people can present and peer review at the same time or not. So they have kind of a choice. It's a different model on the of the current conferences where you are kind of obligated to review the papers of that working group. And I think it's interesting. Yeah, for sure, the Sci World will be a great partner for this, as well as other institutions. I think, yeah, I'm not sure about their name, but I saw something around about decentralized journal on this Gitcoin round that uses the same premise of having a pool of rewards for peer reviewed papers. So yeah, I was heavily inspired by that.
Yeah, and funny story, this decentralized journal is, I believe, made by Desire, and
Yeah,
Desire, the organization of Maria, and I think you know each other, right?
yeah, we met at the Cyrio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the thing is, Maria also got great connections to Unicamp, the
yeah,
university in Brazil. You know it?
yeah. It's
Because yeah, because in this context, funny story, she also invited Yelani of DeSci World, and she also invited me to be on a panel, and I believe next week or so
cool.
to talk about what we did. So maybe we can also make a connection there, and for sure, I also want to invite you to join, but I would just send you over the details. But this might be also low hanging fruit because you already know each other. It's like public institution somehow.
Yeah,
Gilan is also involved. So yeah, let's discuss this.
cool.
And one more thing, for the biz dev outsourcing, I understand it. It's like an annoying task to follow up and keep track and be persistent with all the leads and stuff. But in the end, yeah, it's a great responsibility, and I really like the idea of opening up and also outsourcing tasks. I'm more thinking also about like using the bounty system that we have in place. So
Yeah,
really get that you allocated also some of the budget here. Um, and then yeah, we can just see how far we can come if we have the partnership onboarding in place and then an official partnership onboarding team here, and then how we can distribute the potential partners or potential sponsors to these kinds of events. But yeah, like I said, I think we have a lot of supporting systems in place to this project, and I'm just not sure about the overall budget. Maybe, yeah, we can discuss it later on, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think that yeah, I don't want to make the same mistake that we did with the growth guilds proposal, where we were expecting for a certain a certain project to be approved, and then relying on that project to structure the others. So yeah, I would really like to make these budgets independent from the other things that are still in progress. And then yeah, if we spend less, then we can just return to the treasure, you know. But yeah, I also think that connecting those outsourced professionals with our internal partnership flow could be beneficial, because yeah, sometimes we need also a a pair of fresh eyes to find the best way to monetize. And a lot of people are just not on the level of working for free for a while before things caught up. So I think that we're leaving some really good professionals on the table with this, and yeah, I'm just trying to assess that.
Yeah, that definitely. Maybe we can work in like okay, we have like a minimum that we can give away to people in the form of bounties or MVPs or so, but then also think about a commission based model, but it's like fine tuning stuff.
Hmm.
Sorry about that feedback noise. um, yeah, my mic just caught some feedback. My so with the like a lot of the conferences that I've attended for like Ethereum and stuff like that, they usually have the conference part and the hackathon happening, at the same time. And there's some really cool synergies there, because a lot of people at the attending the conferences, they want to meet, people that are building on top of the protocol,
Yeah.
and vice versa. The people building want to um,
Oh, we lost you, Pablo.
He cut out again.
Yeah.
So maybe
wait,
because
you,
the
you
signal.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Um, yeah, I was just saying that, yeah, I've been to a lot of conferences where they host the hackathon and the conference at the same time, and there's some great synergies there. Because it's like two sides of the same coin, and they both sides want to meet each other. And I know that you've been working on a hackathon project too, so yeah, I feel like there could be some benefit to putting the two together. But you also mentioned that they have pretty different uh, business models. I think is what you said. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's because of the target audience. The idea with this conference is not to be like a crypto-based conference. The idea is to be more, academic, and to be more welcoming to people that are not on crypto yet. Um, yeah, we can talk about crypto, but I think the target audience is more researchers and enthusiasts rather than devs itself. Yeah, with the ETH conferences, it works really well because the target audience is just nerds. It's different. I do think about hosting some talks within the hackathon or maybe a bootcamp. But yeah, I think that it's just different things, and
mhm.
it could be too much to fill in the same proposal. Even though I can coordinate and steward both, I think that I need to assess different teams for each proposal.
Yeah,
Um,
I see. Sorry,
hey
go ahead,
Lucas,
Rafi.
I think Paulo got a very good idea. Even though if we don't want to combine the two activities together, but you can think about some kind of hackathon for only like space focus, something like that, and then we can ask the people who joining the conference to just join the waiting list or something like that, and then we will send them kind of invitation when the hackathon happen. So
Yeah,
basically, it kind of you connecting between two activities, but don't spend too much effort on that.
yeah. My idea was to do the opposite: is to run the hackathon and then use the conference seats as prizes for that hackathon in some categories, as well as invite everyone else to
And then
buy tickets
and then
because
we need the hackathon proposal.
yeah, not really needs, but yeah, I will build one. I was just waiting to see if we were doing a hackathon specifically for zero G, and now that I know that we're not, I will work on that. Also, I think that, yeah, putting those separate events, it's also an opportunity to see what works best and what brings more revenue and more results, and then we can, if needed, we can just continue with the one that performs best instead of doing both.
Can you talk about the table B a little bit? It's quite difficult to understand.
Yeah, sure. I made here different scenarios. Yeah, my background is with live events, basically assessing risk and doing operational work. So, uh, yeah, sometimes I go with the flow, and I get that it can be confusing sometimes. So on the top left, I have here the average price. So the thing is, the more sponsors we get, the more we can spend on ads, the more we can spend on invited keynote speakers and some other stuff. So as long as the sponsor goes up, the cost also goes up a little bit. And yeah, so here's the worst case scenario where we just sell like 20 tickets for the conference. Then would be a loss of 20,000 or so. Um, Actually, 15,000. Yeah, I think that the final amount's not updated, but yeah. Anyway, it's 20,000. This one here is correct. The other one is how many seats do we need to sell to break even? So yeah, the total amounts invested could come back to us. Using the average ticket of $100, we would need to sell like 310 seats approximately if we don't land any sponsors. If we land like 4 sponsors with a total of 24K, then and then have like 70 people, and this is the most likely scenario because it's kind of an average of fundraising. Then we would have a really small profit. Here is if we sold out and don't have any sponsors, so it will still be a profit of 21,000, and I already allocated this for a next event to try to make this pot bigger than would be a break even on a treasury impact. And the last one is the max amount that we can get from this specific proposal. So would be a sold out with 500 people on $100 average ticket sale and 200K in sponsorships. Um, so
How
here,
you come up with the maximum sponsorship?
yeah, I just came up with this based on how many tiers we have naturally on a conference with this many attendants and with this impact. So I considered about 20 to 30 main sponsors paying something around 2K up to 15K each. So that's the average. Um, yeah, that's the average.
Okay, got it.
Rate.
So to
Yeah.
make it less confused, can you go up in the title? Can you like in the title? And then you put, let's say, 20 tickets, or in the break even with sponsor 70 ticket and 4 sponsor, because that the one
Yeah,
which
sure.
um yeah confused me. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm also considering here that with this level of sponsorships, we would have this referral bounty and
How many speakers you target to? I saw like the budget is 5,000, but is that too little? How many for how many speakers?
Yeah, I'm aiming to get something around 50 up to 200 speakers. Uh, Keynote. Yeah, it's hard to say because I'm dividing here in keynote speakers and working group speakers. So on the keynote, I'm aiming to get in a minimum, in the worst case scenario, two main speakers, and in the best case scenario, something around 10 or 15 main speakers. And on the working groups, it could be up to 500. So basically, but I'm aiming to, yeah, I think that I could get something around 50 or 100 people speaking.
And the budget for the speaker only 5,000. Is that too little?
Yeah, this budget here is only for the keynote speakers. The budget for the specific budget for working group speakers would, yeah, generally when people go to academic conferences, they pay to speak. So yeah, it would be already a beneficial to, be able to present your paper without paying a huge amount. So that's why I didn't include it here. um, and yeah, the Mooney amount is also not included here on this table. It's included later on, and down here you can find the total pool for peer reviews and speakers. There it's, yeah, I'm basically focusing more on Mooney for those academic speakers to onboard them to the community than dollars.
So maybe the last question is how confident you are.
Yeah, I think I did some math here as well. I've done this a lot of times. I've hosted different conferences through my life, and most of them, yeah, were
Good.
next to break even or even a little profit. So I'm confident that we can at least pay the cost for it, and doesn't and have a zero impact on the treasure. But yeah, there is also some risk. I don't know. I feel that there's 10% or so of risk of, having a negative impact, and 90% of breaking even. But I know.
Oh,
I want to happen.
okay. Fully support this.
So yeah, cool. I don't know if this is ready to vote. I think Manuel has
You
some.
need a delegate for that. You still leave it blank.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really need a delegate because I now I have more than 250k money.
You still need a delegate because
Mm.
that just process. I think just put some
Yeah.
name there. Pablo.
Well, I thought it was the process that, but the way that it's written right now, it does say basically like if you don't have 250,000 VMooney,
Yeah,
then I still think it's a good practice though. Just like to have support from someone who can, manage some of the the details, and yeah, I think it's
yeah.
useful.
I think
But
this was one fundamental change from sponsors to delegates. I'm not sure,
mhm.
uh, but yeah, I remember reading something in the past about, even though you have 250k, you still need a sponsor to and external people. But I think that's the in-depth review kind of covers this in a way.
The sponsor is the one who responsible to oversee the project during the project like implementation. The in-depth review is just for the proposal.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah,
not
I don't
not
know.
so important. Just put some name there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm just trying to understand really, because
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I think it should basically say that you should have a delegate. But there was like I was surprised after reading that. I'm like, huh, yeah, I guess the interpretation of that is if you don't have it yourself, then yeah, you could be your own delegate. Um, yeah, because it does provide some accountability, the delegate role.
Yeah,
Um, so I do think it's pretty valuable to have someone there.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
yeah. Okay. Um, cool. Should we move over to the next proposal?
Yeah, I think so. Anyone has more questions?
All right. All right. Thanks, Lucas. All right. So the next one, it's already been presented. But yeah, I think it would be good to talk about it one more time. So I'll pass it over to Ari for the citizen astronaut training.
Yeah, thanks so much. And thank you, Lucas. I'm super excited about this conference and would be happy to help have a bunch of speakers that I'm excited to introduce you to. And I think that it also could be interesting to align it with the speaker series during our Zero G event, and that we could have some type of in real life event with the people participating in the Zero G flight. And maybe that could be going on at the same time. Otherwise, we could just invite them to participate another time. But yeah, excited to follow up with you, Lucas, on this project and others that you're working on. Thanks for the great work. So I am following up now with our conversation. This has been brought up in the Senate. We've been working on this for several months now, and I reintroduced it again last week, and I'm following up now after discussing it with Rachel, the executive director of Space for Humanity. For those that are unfamiliar with this, Space for Humanity is a U.S. 501c3 nonprofit with the mission of giving scholarships and sending people to space. They've sent two citizen astronauts so far. The first woman from Egypt, the first woman from Mexico. They have a new one coming up. Both of those were with Blue Origin. They also have a new one coming up from, I believe, the Virgin Islands, somewhere in the Caribbean, with Virgin. So they have multiple seats on several different flight providers. And a big part of what they do is to provide this citizen astronaut training of being able to support these private astronauts and being leaders in their community. And so they have offered for us to do that with Jan, and Jan is now interested as of talking with Balak. And a big key as well is that they've helped with multiple visas being denied. So they have committed to supporting us with our visa process and deferring the grant until he receives his visa. So that was the big thing that we were waiting on, and that is fine with them. Rachel will, the executive director, and her team will be a part of the team, but not necessarily the steward on the project. So I'll be the personal lead with no MVP. So I'll just be a nonprofit donation, and with that, Jan will have the training and the ongoing support after the flight in this media, in being a leader in his community and representing MoonDAO through that partnership. We'll also be able to have seats on their vision council and a part of the Space for Humanity community. So there's a lot of other perks that go with that. So excited about that. Happy to answer any questions, and hope we can put it up for a vote.
Sorry, I just thought I'd share the proposal. Yeah, I think that we should we should make some changes to make sure that it fits into the projects before, and add the signatures here at the bottom before it goes up to vote. Yeah. Yeah, I do personally think that the 25K. So yeah, now it's only 25K if Yan gets the visa. But yeah, it still feels relatively high. Rachel says that she's providing this at cost and that it costs them about that much. But I do wonder, like, which part of it is costing that much, because there's there's the preparation, so it's receiving training. I feel like I need a little bit more detail about what the training really is about, and then integration. So like, are these like meetings that Yan attends, and then yeah, and then a life and leadership agreement. Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of curious what these look like.
Yeah, this is a proprietary curriculum, basically designed by and facilitated by leaders of Space for Humanity. So it's a series of one-on-ones and workshops and presentations and exercises with Jan for the preparation, and then the follow-up is a lot of organizational support.
Okay. Yeah, and any other questions from people?
I think you can look to their two citizen astronauts before, Katya and Sarah. They've become celebrities effectively, featured on Vogue, and have had millions and millions. I think the hundreds of millions of media impressions. That they've really become these celebrity astronauts, and it would be really excited for our astronaut to be on that level with them.
Will they be able to work with Yan with translators?
Yes, that is another assurance that we have, and part of this is that they're going to tailor it specifically to him.
Got it. Okay.
And so, upon passing this project, they're ready to jump in to help with the visa application, and then once he's approved and has a date, then they can start with the training. But they're ready to give organizational support for the visa immediately.
All right. Yeah. Any other questions for Ari?
Yeah. Thanks, Ari, that if Space for Humanity could help for the visa, it would be great. So I talked to Yen, and Yen also asked one question that what is the content for astronaut training? So if maybe can provide this to Yen, it would be great.
Yes, I can get more specifics, but it's a lot of psychological preparation, media, publicity, uh, space diplomacy. It's like the whole package around preparing to be an astronaut and this new this new leader in your community and a public figure, a new envoy of humankind that comes with going to space. And it would also be interesting for us, and I believe that this proposal includes two. So we could invite Dude Perfect to participate in this, or wait for our next flight. But it's an ongoing partnership that we can also continue to develop.
Okay, sounds good. So if Space for Humanity can provide us, we see that such a package in written in paper or something will be great. That just send to Yan, have a overview. Okay, thanks, Ari.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll hand it off to Luffy next. So we already went through this proposal too, but I thought it'd be good to, just review the changes to the proposal before it goes up to vote, get the signers, all of that. So should be kind of brief, but Luffy, I'll let you go for it. I can also pull up the proposal if that's easier, or do you prefer to share your screen? Can you hear us, Luffy? Or can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, Pablo.
Okay. All right, well, if Luffy can't present, I can jump in. Okay, so the cost, and 3 Senate members. Okay. Well, yeah, so the idea is to have a Twitter verified organization. The Rocketeers, astronauts, and stewards would get a badge on Twitter to verify them as being part of MoonDAO. And I think we basically already went over this last week, but there's some changes to the costs, and I think some changes to the operations around it too. So I think it'll be it'll be managed by Lucas. And we'll run it for 3 months and reevaluate. Luffy, I don't know if you're with us now. If not, I really don't think that we need to go through this too much because we did last week. But are there any questions? It's worth noting that it is quite expensive. So it's $6,000 in total. So $3,000 to get the verified organization, and then $50 per affiliate seat subscription. So there's a question about whether or not this is the best use of money. So there's certainly room to debate that. My rough reasoning for why I think this is like a good use is that we've been impersonated in the past. It's been an issue that we've had to deal with a lot, specifically on Twitter, it being our biggest platform. And if we can avoid people pretending to be part of the MoonDAO team that are saying random crap online, I think that this is a big benefit. And then also it's like basically helps to spread MoonDAO to more people, because every time you post, every time you do anything on Twitter, you'll have that MoonDAO badge associated with it. So it's kind of like free advertising everywhere. And I've seen it as a pretty successful strategy. There are other orgs that are leveraging that pretty well, especially if you get someone with like a pretty big audience. Like if we got Ellie to have one of these badges or something like that, that would be pretty big. So I don't know if she'd be down to do that, but yeah.
Yeah. One main difference that I think it's worth to mention is yeah, there is a difference between golden badges and gray badges. Gray badges are really a big deal because it's only issued for trusted organizations or basically governments. Yeah, the main addition to this proposal is that we would try to get a gray badge, and yeah, it could be huge if we got one because would be really verifiable and yeah. So to get one, we need a certain spec of domains. I'm not sure if we own the moondao.org. um, I saw it's taken, but I'm not sure if it's ours. But yeah, there are a bunch of specific domains that could apply for the gray badge, and yeah, this comes also with some other different benefits like networking and a specific space on DMs where you don't on that solicitations, but on the main uh, thing.
Yeah, we have the .com, but not. I don't think we have the .org. That'd be a surprise to me. Yeah,
Yeah, someone else then does.
yeah. Um,
Doggy.
but yeah, okay. Well, yeah, Luffy, I don't know if you're with us now, but if not, I think we can just jump over to the next proposal. Cool. So the next one is the BRC 20. I think we have Summer in here if they want to present. I can also share my screen if that's easier and just pull this up right here. Yeah. Or Balak, I don't know if you're going to be doing the translation on this one or who's going to be presenting.
Okay, the summer dear me that he actually now need to do his work, so I gonna present. And
Okay.
yeah, okay, thanks, Pablo. You share screen. The jury, I think we have this proposal have be present last meeting, so I will not read each word. On basically that we need to create a page, and then the money holder need to interact with this page, and then we get the airdrop. So the total token and we created by BRC20 will be like Mooney on the quantity of Mooney 2.6 around 2.6 billion, and half will be airdrop to the Mooney holder, and then you mean that 1.3 billion will be dropped will airdrop to the Mooney holder, and then another 1.3 will be minted later. So yeah, this is the general idea that we will need to also have to set up a date to make a snapshot. Okay, which kind and until when that the money holder will be calculated to as a will be airdropped with I see new token on from BRC20. Yeah, this is what I actually, to be honest, I'm not so quite familiar with the proposal because this, according to our project, we need to one member from Moon Settler as rock tier, so they put me my name on Moon Settler, but this whole thing is not be did for myself. So okay, and this is the I think the main ideas and yeah, we're gonna do for this project.
Got it.
Any questions?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I just ask any question about this proposal?
With the team Crypto Daddy here, um, I think it's them. They submitted a letter to the SEC about MoonDAO.
What?
I'm pretty sure it was this person, is Crypto Daddy, who led that charge.
For what?
um, yeah, I don't know. It was like submit a complaint, and then they did it, and then put up screenshots about it and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So then in this case, we need to really take care of the new token on BRC20. Yeah, it's in the definition of this new token we see that because you mean that MoonDAO we have a new token on BRC20.
Well, I mean that this person like tried to do that, and now they want to create another token and be on that team. I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me, but yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a no from me, dog.
I'm not a lawyer, so and I would feel a lot more comfortable. I wish we had a lawyer. Is this sound like I'm just very paranoid about, because we're sitting here not doing anything wrong and we have people calling the cops on us. It makes me feel kind of paranoid about doing anything that even is remotely gray, in terms of legality. Like, I'm, yeah, concerned that we need to keep things really extra above board right now. And so I know the SEC does not like meme coins. Um, and yeah, can anyone actually speak to the legality of this proposal?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I linked the SEC has been, pretty unclear about a lot of, what's going on with crypto. But yeah, there definitely is a basis for governance tokens and tokens that are used for, with a utility purpose, and yeah, that are not fractionalized ownership, or represent any, distribution of profits, but are used as a tool, which is, what we've been doing with Mooney. But
Well, this is right.
yeah, I mean, it's it's hard to say. Mostly, it's just interesting, that someone that that tried to, well, and then they also put forward recently a proposal to disband the Senate entirely. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable, yeah, with that individual on this proposal.
I think it
Yeah.
it is a threat. Like, I think that they could basically pose a threat to our community guidelines, right? Like, they've proven to not really care so much about our community guidelines and our processes and things. And I'm just trying to make sure, that this is constitutional, that it's going to be aligned with the Constitution. Um, and yeah, I don't feel comfortable with this individual either. But yeah, it would help a lot if there was a lawyer or someone with some legal background who could get some input on this. My biggest thing is that it seems like the proposal is saying that this token is commemorative, but it's also something that is, you get in the future, which makes it a promotion. And I don't think that you can have a commemorative future event. That's a promotion, and so it's kind of got to be like one or the other. I think it's a promotion, and my concern is that it's going to get, you know, um, because it's a promotion for a token that does not have any utility. That and because you have to buy Mooney to get it, it kind of like indirectly turns Mooney into a security. Like also the proposal here says that it doesn't have any economic traits, but also at the same time says that it's tradable, right? So again, like I don't think I think it's one or the other, right? And I think it is economic. I think that probably it, I don't see. I think it's pretty reasonable to argue that most people would want this token because they think they're going to make some money. And without it having utility, I don't know. It just again, I'm not a lawyer, but that seems like sketchy.
Yeah. Any other thoughts from people or questions for the team? Yeah, I mean, I think we should put it up for Senate vote. Yeah, we should get the signatures. Make sure it's all in line. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about it the last week and the week before too. But yeah, the major changes here are that the fee now is 10K, and they've provided some responses about how they're going to implement the airdrop and why they're setting the snapshot time in the future, and security risk and marketing. Yeah, so any other thoughts that people have?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that the people originally had a bad intent. I would say that it's like also the distribution of money to the community and some more value that we can give and a focus. But yeah, it seems like very not a good idea if someone out of our community tries to do a project and then goes to the SEC to push this forward right now. I'm not sure if this really makes sense. If some regulators now have an eye on us and we just launch a token out of nowhere. So we should definitely discuss this also with the project team to improve the project proposal instead of trying to change our system of processes that we have in place. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. There's so many things about this that make me uncomfortable, and I'd like to hear from a lawyer that it's first all right. I'd like to investigate and make sure that there are no team members breaking community guidelines. There are a lot of things that I'm not okay with about this. So really hesitant to even have it in any of our voting systems as a means of endorsement.
All right. Any other thoughts or questions about this proposal? Okay. Well, um, so before we go into open floor, there was one discussion that someone brought up in the chat here, which we were talking about a little bit earlier, which is um, doing uh, basically V Mooney as vesting rather than Mooney as vesting. So the idea would be basically giving voting rights to our community members directly rather than giving them Mooney, and with the expectation that they lock it or yeah. So yeah, there's some thoughts that were shared already inside of the Discord. When we first implemented the system, we didn't have locking at all, and yeah, we discussed for a while like what is sort of the technical implementation of sending vMooney directly to contributors rather than Mooney, and yeah, there are definitely ways to do it. They're a little bit manual, but I think that it's an important thing to do. Mostly because yeah, the hypothesis when we were first implementing our rewards program with Mooney was that well, a lot of the contributors are long term and will probably represent some of our strongest holders. But then we actually went into this like uh, big spiral, where some of the core members started, selling, and that upset other people in the community. It just sets us up for like a weird game theory problem, where like people are receiving Mooney and they're like, oh well, I could just sell it right now, and this is pretty unconventional. Any startup or something like that, usually you do receive that, you know um, like you yeah you there's a difference between receiving a stake and um, being able to trade or sell it. And I think that we should, uh, reward our members with this, but we should have that reward be locked for a period of time, and give our communities give our community members more voting power up front too, which is another big part of this. Um, yeah, and I think the only thing really holding us back was, some, technical implementation of it, and, yeah, it's very doable, so, um, we should do it, and, especially with the expansion to L2s, it'll make it a lot simpler for us and less expensive, so, yeah. But, yeah, there's no proposal for it yet, just kind of a discussion about it. Yeah.
I'm definitely in favor of the Mooney payments, and yeah, I'm excited about the L2 things. That's going to be a major game changer. But I don't have any other feedback besides that I'm pro V Mooney.
Yeah, can't we just hoard V Mooney and Mooney while we distribute Mooney and V Mooney out of our treasury? And then if the treasury runs out of Mooney and V Mooney, we can just buy it back.
Well, right now the incentives program is on a geometric series, so we shouldn't ever run out. But yeah, yeah, the way that we're thinking of implementing it, and there's definitely room for alternative solutions. I know Lucas has some thoughts with account abstraction. Um, is basically like we would create a wallet, and then in that wallet we would send the Mooney and then stake it, and then delegate that stake over to that contributor, and then we would assign the controllership of that wallet to the staker with the vMooney already staked, and then when it becomes unlocked, that person has the control over that wallet, and they can send it to their main wallet or send it to wherever or do whatever they want with it. But at that point, it's theirs. But by default, they receive that voting power locked. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also being able to expand some type of voter registration or something that we really have the database of our voters and vMooney holders. I mean, we have there's such a cliff from Mooney holders to the vMooney holders, and then even from those 140 or so wallets to the people that are voting. I mean, it. Yeah, I think it's just like the people on the stage pretty much. So I feel like if there's a way to have them all in a database, to be incentivized to participate and vote, and to empower more utilization of the utility token I absolutely support.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Yeah, we should definitely yeah, I mean we've talked a little bit about voter incentives and how we could do that. And I think that yeah, there's definitely yeah, there are definitely ways. But yeah, maybe we can discuss more on rewards in another proposal, especially with the movement to Polygon. I think it would be a lot simpler to do some of the things that we've been wanting to do. Um, yeah, like distributing more voting power to the people that are voting. Stuff like that would be would be a lot easier on an L2, where you can do like bulk, transactions for pennies on the dollar, rather than yeah, some of those yeah, TSV sends have been pretty pricey on mainnet. So yeah. And I think also that this would settle, a dispute between the contributors and the community that's been ongoing for a while. So, yeah, I think we can settle it through technology and set up better game theory between all of our contributors. So, yeah. But yeah, if there are no other comments on that, we can open it up, open floor if people want to share updates or yeah, just general thoughts, things that are on their mind. Yeah, it's totally open.
Pablo, regarding the co-marketing with Chainlink, and they're writing an article and put in the Telegram channel, and yeah, we need to have a check. It's of okay, then yeah, then we need to then we. I think last time there's a time that we need to post together, then we make trade, and they make a trade something.
Okay. Yeah, I have a meeting with one of them tomorrow, so I'll discuss with them then.
Cool, cool. General, I think maybe they forgot. I just want to add that they need to post little information about we still have several tickets for sitting and then sitting on the sitting link something. If people have interest, then click the link and yeah, buy take something. So didn't see in this article. Maybe yeah, tomorrow maybe you can ask them to add it, or if it's okay for them to add it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see right now that they've sent over a draft of the article. Yeah, I'll go through it and add yeah, they have a section that they want us to add into. So, yep. Sounds good. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, Bullock. Yep.
No problem.
Pablo, I just want to say in regards to the astronaut proposal, I agree with those things, and I think that yeah, it'd be great to have a lawyer, because you've been working with a lawyer just on your own to advise. So I think to have that institutionalized and making sure that yeah, every project, every proposal, all of our guidelines, our constitution, everything is good from a legal perspective. I think that'd be great to do as soon as possible, especially as we're now a nonprofit, to make sure that we're yeah, following all those regulations. So maybe that's its own project, or maybe we should yeah, pass that astronaut project sooner rather than later. But yeah, that definitely has my support.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we have had the Constitution reviewed by a lawyer and the project system reviewed by a lawyer. Um, yeah, and yeah, we got all the comments and um, yeah, I think yeah, we're relatively buttoned up with all of that. Um, I think that yeah, it would be good to get ongoing support from them too. So yeah, and then yeah, especially with the documentary, which is I'm still working on. We've got a big beefy contract that we've been um, working on with the documentary team, um, and yeah, it includes like a U.S. entity that they're interfacing with, and a service agreement between that U.S. entity and the MoonDAO proper, and that's also being reviewed by a lawyer. And yeah, there's definitely some legal complexity with all of that, but we're navigating it and getting through it. We've got some really good lawyers that are supporting us with that. Um, yeah, but it'd be great also to have them, join the community and discuss these things with everyone and walk everyone through it. Um, yeah, I think maybe we can at our next meeting or the one after that, it would be good to have them just walk through, their thoughts with the Constitution, with the project system. They've included a lot of their comments and yeah, I think I shared the documents with the comments from the lawyers on both the project system and the Constitution. But it'd be great to have them join us and talk more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that GitCon was a huge success. Last week I completely debriefed, and we are now also working on the final report. So this whole I would say tab into decentralized science was successful. Yeah, people know about MoonDAO. It's great. And let's move forward. So that's from my side.
Cool. Yeah, I think I just have one thing to add. It's yeah the translation of the MoonDAO docs to Portuguese, and kind of a small onboarding flow that I've been working on. Yeah, I actually almost completed all the translation. I think I just need to finish up the projects and a couple of other things. But yeah, also willing to do this as a project before, kind of permissionlessly. So I just put up a general proposal about what I'm doing and what are the benefits, the risks. We've been seeing kind of an interesting flow of Portuguese speakers on our Twitter, and yeah, I've been interacting a lot in conferences. So this one of the most common feedbacks, that we should have some kind of documentation in Portuguese. So yeah, it's not really much, but it's something. So it's basically to find the best way to make sure that those people feel welcome within the community. You know that the language barriers sometimes can be tricky. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions on this or any comments, I'm happy to answer them. If not, I will just keep working on that.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I feel like once we get a couple languages like Chinese and Portuguese, yeah, we could probably just start not automating it completely, but making that system easy to, add more languages. But yeah, super cool. Um, yeah, so I think well, we're out of agenda items. Is there anything else that people want to bring up before we close up? Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I think yeah, let's get some well, dinner in my case, but yeah, sleep in other people's cases or breakfast and yeah, whatever. All right. Thanks everyone.